What's good? It's your girl Squeezy Arms, aka Killer Queen T, aka Blackout T, aka oh my god, it's a lot of shit going on. I was not gonna make a video today because the universe, well, it wasn't even the universe, it was YouTube that was pissing me the fuck off. Like, I don't know what the fuck they want from me at this fucking point. Like, it don't matter, Sprizzy on bullshit, YouTube on bullshit, everybody on fucking bullshit. Even the fucking Amazon on bullshit, so this is chapter 12 of the Sisterhood BlackBerry Corner. Now the scooter, horse, and Kyle Monroe took turns rowing folks to the side of the creek where the fairgrounds were decorated with yellow and white banners and balloons. Halfway across the water, Bonnie could hear the harpsichord music and smell the scent of popcorn balls and barbecue pork piled on wooden skewers. Such were the sounds and scents of the tri-country spring fair. Hold that boy down, Ruby Pearl, Nash yelled. The muscles in his bare arms flexed as he picked up his rowing speed. Ruby Pearl tucked an excited whine into the folds of her skirt. He reached toward the edge of the boat and cried when he couldn't get loose from her grip. Can't jump in the water, baby, Ruby Pearl said. She retrieved the pacifier from her bag and stuck it in his mouth. Hey there, wine, Thor said. Her lavender scarf ballooned on the sides of her face as the boat coasted across the water. Ain't T Thor gonna take you wading in the creek today? How that sound? Ryan's eyes explored the blue sky as he sucked on his pacifier. What about your hair? Ruby Pearl asked Thor. What about my hair? Ain't you afraid to make it away? Ain't like we going swimming, Thor said. We still got toes in the water, and that be the end of it. I might just have to join you, Bonnie put in, especially if the heat rise. Bonnie enjoyed the warm breeze laying with the white scent of Cannon Creek. There was none so pretty as the Tri-County Spring Fair. It was the perfect time for a picnic, right before the airline summer ride, when daisies and aerosols overwhelmed the park and before the green grass was seamed brown from the hot sun. She felt so at peace today. Maybe it was the festive mood of the fair or the fact that Ruby Pearl looked so happy. Or maybe because the sisterhood just seems to be working out. Bonnie recognized her blessing when they came and she gathered them up with all reverence, like sweet blackberries plucked from the bush. She held onto the side of the splintery wooden boat as it ripped through the water. Okay. The creek was beautiful this time of morning, and it was never so full of life as when folks crossed the water for the fair. Times like this made Bonnie forget about the tragic event that happened almost a year ago. No offense, Dora, Ruby Pearl said, but I don't think I'm going to let Ryan get in the water. Everybody get in the water. Ryan is too young. He ain't too young, no, Thor argued. I've been wading in the creek since before I could walk. Nas even got a swimming contest for the little kids. Ain't that right, Nas? Keep me out of y'all stuff, Nas said. Maybe next year, Ruby Pearl said, kissing Ryan on the top of his head. Lord have mercy, Thor argued. You gonna smother that child to death. Thor, Bonnie whispered. Though Ruby Pearl and the woman had grown used to Thor in her mouth, her melon occasionally still got in the way. I say let the child wade, Thor insisted. She raised her arms over her head and said, Girl, let the little birdie fly. You fried chicken, Ruby Pearl? Bonnie quickly asked. Ruby Pearl seemed more than happy to move on to another subject. Just made wings, she replied. I also baked the pecan pie for the contest. Love your pecan pie, Bonnie said. And I make some navy beans and a lemonade cake. Naz seasoned the short ribs. What you bring, Thoradine? Ruby Pearl asked. I brought the plates, napkins, and forks. I always was good for plastic, Ruby Pearl mumbled. You two need to cut out that foolishness, Bonnie scrawled. Tell her to cut it out, Thor said peevishly. I thought y'all were getting on fine, Naz put in. Since your sisterhood thing, I mean. We do okay when Thor didn't stay out of my business, Ruby Pearl said. I'm just telling the truth that I know what Thor defended. Nash shook his head. Glad us man don't go through all that jibber jabber, he said. Thor and Ruby Pearl moaned the union. Say what you want, Nash defended. But she ain't gonna find me and Horace or me and Scooter fighting like two gray cats. And when Dewey come a visit, you won't see nothing but good times. Dewey, Thor asked. Nash baseball buddy, Bonnie put in. He's stopping in tomorrow on his way to Mobile. When Dewey come, there won't be nothing but good times. That might be true, Thor said. But if you ask me, you mean it's worse gossip than us women will ever be. When the boat slid to a stop, Bonnie was the first one out. Nash reached for her hand, and as she leapt onto land, she bumped against his chest. A naughty smile crept across her face as she felt his manhood respond to her closeness. Their sex life had declined since the morning she had tried to heat things up. But she still found her husband desirable, and at times like this, Bonnie felt his need in return. Hey now, baby, he whispered, getting me all bothered right here now. Dora and Ruby Pearl grinned as they pretended not to notice. Stop that fresh talk in public, Bonnie whispered back. He pecked on her lips. Mike just had to take us a little walk in the woods later, he said. Wash yourself there, Nash Wilder, she giggled. The day felt good. Her husband felt good. The sun felt good. She's just loving life right now. Nash lifted Wyan out the boat and above his head with a big growl. The child's laughter rang out among the other children's hoops and shrieks from farther on the campground. Nash helped Ruby Pearl out next, then reached for Thor. Bonnie wondered how her best friend would make it in her high heels, but Thor always managed despite her wardrobe. I'm going back over for the last group, Nash said, just as Horace's boat reached the bank. Bonnie waved at Mary Lee and Tavin Brent as they got out with their daughter. The other couple, who Bonnie didn't know, were just the same. Green and white plastic windmills and large multicolored lollipops dotted the grassy meadows ahead. Ruby Pearl could hardly stop Wyan from squirming in her arms when he saw the blue blinking portal that said Tri-Country Spring Fair. Go on, honey, Bonnie said. That boy gonna bust if you don't get there. Howdy hi, Mary Lee said as she passed Bonnie, her 6-year-old daughter Penny pulling her along. Dora nodded to the couple behind them. The woman, compact and short, smiled warmly as she held her husband's hand. His wavy hair framed the light brown face that looked as smooth as saltwater taffy. Pardon me, he said, but are you Miss Wilder? Bonnie slowed her pace. Yes, sir. The wife just caved in relief. So glad we found you straight away, she said. She appeared to be a young woman, somewhat in her mid-20s. My name is Dorothy Potter, the husband said, extending his hand, and this is my wife, Evelyn. Bonnie knew where this conversation would lead. Since involving the ladies, she had been stopped in the market at the doctor appointment and gotten 2 unposted letters in her mailbox with names and addresses of families who wanted babies. Bonnie could spot a couple in need from a mile away. The longing in their eyes and the hope she could answer their prayers always gave them away. Don't mean to take up your time, ma'am, the husband said, but we were hoping to find you here. We're from Purwell. His voice low when he said, we hear that you have families who want to adopt. Mr. Dorothy, Bonnie started. Porter, he corrected. Dorothy Porter is my name. Mr. Porter, she said, she went on. This might not be the best time to discuss. We know, he said, and we apologize truly for this, for the poor time, and the wife put in. But we were sure we'd find you here at the fair, the husband went on. A woman who lives up in Hensel told us about you. Didn't think it proper to just come to your house, he said. So we waited till we thought that we saw you cross the creek. Lady said to look for a tall, attractive woman with short brown hair. Say you most probably be the other lady that look bright shiny, he said, dashing Thora a smile. Shiny, huh? Thora said, trying to decide if she should be assaulted. Bonnie peered around her to see if Pine was close by. I usually conduct this kind of business in private and ma'am, the wife said also desperately. We just wanted to meet you and give you our name and address. She held out a tightly folded piece of white paper. If you need to know anything about us, we got plenty of folks who will tell you we're hardworking and God-fearing and that we will only treat a child with love and kindness. Bonnie could tell that this lady had been rehearsing her words for a while now. One of us will contact you by and by, Bonnie said. The woman clasped her hand excitedly. And Mr. Porter, Bonnie said, y'all have yourself a good time at the fair. Instead of going to the fairgrounds, the Porters walked toward the bank. They really had come here just to find her. Potter Bonnie felt a bit embarrassed by her perceived authority. Another side of her knew exactly what these childless women felt like. The Harperson music got louder as they walked onto the fairgrounds. Soon they weaved past pastel-colored cotton candy that blew up from sugar machines and makeshift rides like a Ferris wheel, a carnival, a fun house, and for those who dared, a small roller coaster called Bob the Cat. Booths selling everything from TP lemonade to homemade pot holders spread across the square. I'm sorry, y'all. Elijah's supposed to be asleep. He refused to go to bed. But when I go to bed, he's just going to be out here by himself. Delphine and Miss Adeline had arrived early and snagged a half dozen of the best tables in the shade, but close enough to where the kids' games were set up. I understand about the babies' club, Thora whispered to Bonnie. But damn if I'm going to spend all day sitting around the sisterhood, ladies. I promise we would all stay together, Bonnie said. Ah, come on now, Thora groaned. In fact, Bonnie went on, we arranged what each person was going to bring so that we would have a little bit of everything. Ruby Pearl bought the fried chicken. Miss Adeline made all the salads. Olive bringing the burgers and hot dogs. I got it, Bonnie. I get it. Thora snapped. Damn it to hell. They ain't so bad, Ruby Pearl said, still trying to control Wyan. He was restless, fussy, and stressed out his whole body as he tried to shrink from her grip. I just can't listen to them ladies today, Thora declared. Just then Wyan let out a piercing scream. Ruby Pearl quickly gave him his pacifier. And I ain't gonna put up with too much of that hollering either, she said. Now look, Bonnie said, you the one that pronounced me the president of this here club. And I say we all sit together today. It's just plain late neighborly. Thora grumbled. All day with these ladies ain't my ideal of a picnic. Hi there, Olivia, Miss Adele, Delphine, Thora says wanly. Like, I don't want... We cool, we cordial, but we ain't friends, and I don't feel like today's the day I want to act like I want to be your friend. That's what Thora said. Baskets of chips and pretzels and cellophane-covered bowls of every kind of salad were set on 4 tables, covered in white paper cloths. Miss Ideen stood behind a large smoking grill. Y'all set y'all stuff right on over there, Delphine said. Her baggy shorts splashed with green palm trees nearly touched her knees. Hey there, Ruby Pearl, Delphine said cheerfully. How that little handsome man? About to bust with excitement, Ruby Pearl tried, balancing Wyan and unpacking her picnic basket at the same time. She finally settled the boy on a blanket beside the table, but he crawled toward a group of toddlers, tossing a beach ball on the grass just feet away. Might as well take him to play, and I'll pack your things, Bonnie said. Ain't no child fit to sit still in all this excitement. Thank you, honey, Ruby Pearl said. She picked Ryan up and carried him to the circle of children. Protect that child like he come from her own womb, Delphine said, spreading plastic forks across the table. A little too protective, if you ask me, Thora said, nibbling the grape. Some mamas just like that, Thora spoke up in defense of her friend. She been through a lot and don't want to make no mistakes. Everybody make mistakes, Thora shot back. And mamas probably make the worst of them. Bonnie opened Ruby Pearl's basket and pulled out a large, foil-wrapped bundle of fried chicken. She unpacked animal crackers, bottles with juice and milk, chunks of cheese and peeled apples and wax paper. A pie plate sat in the corner with a large pecan pie glistening under the glass cover. She couldn't believe that Ruby Pearl felt confident enough to bake. Before Wyan, the woman barely came to a bake sale, let alone into one. While Bonnie unpacked her own basket and laid the napkins and paperware on the table, she caught sight of Kitty Woodard and Ernest Collins sitting with their families. Lord Thoreen was at the table with her husband. Bonnie waved, but the woman just rolled her eyes and looked away. Ooh. Anyone see Tilly today? Bonnie asked. Please don't talk that woman up, Delphine said. Miss Ideen looked toward the table where Lotharine sat. Maybe she ain't got here yet. Tilly always gets to the fair early, Olive said. She liked to get on the good side of the contest judges. Can't imagine Tilly on anybody's good side, Thora said. Ruby Pearl wandered back over and sat beside Bonnie. She watched Ryan just yards away with Jenny Dixon. I hear you definitely started that her daughter, Natalie, got into one of them smart girl colleges up in Washington, D.C. But she only 16, Thora said. Tilly said the girl don't even have to go to her last year of high school, Delphine went on. Say she going straight on to that college in the fall. Ain't that fine? That's nice, Olive said. Say that Nathan is going to be staying at her sister's house in Virginia, just a few miles from the college in D.C., Delphine added. I thought somebody had cut some music on, my bad. Happy, happy, Pan yelled out as he approached the table. Though he seemed light and flexible, Bonnie could feel the woman's tension in his presence. Or maybe it was her own nerves that came to the surface every time she saw Pan. Bonnie heaped her ribs onto the grill beside Miss Adeline. Corn cobs as she eyed him. The liquid made the hot iron sizzle and the smoke rise in a fragrant cloud. I declare, he said, whenever there's a gathering, you ladies all seem to band together. Just like the brethren, Miss Adeline said, only we ain't got no guns or ammo to compare notes about. I suppose that's true, Pine chuckled. He straddled one of the benches and sat. Where the husbands at? Nass and Horace still down at the creek, Bunny answered. They on their last trip. And whoever ain't got cross Thor put in need to row themselves or swim. Pine reached in one of the bowls for a pretzel. Can I fix you a plate? Olive asked him. Sausage is ready, Miss Adeline said, turning the roll on the grill. Nah, he said. Pine's eyes glistened around the immediate area. He munched on the pretzel, then brushed crumbs from his bright red shirt. Just wanted to tell you, fat ladies, he started, that y'all need to stop what you're doing. Bonnie's head shot up. The woman froze. Y'all think I just fell off the turnip truck? He asked. No one answered. Pine's dark eyes quickly took into each woman. You listen to what I'm about to tell you. That's not what it said, but that's what he looking at them like. Then he reached for another pretzel. This is a small town, he said. Folks talk, and I listen. Folks like Tilly, Thor asked. Never mind who said what. He focused on Bonnie. There's an itty-bitty line here, and it'd be real easy for one of y'all to step over it. Bonnie lowered her eyes. I know you mean well, Bonnie, he said, but Sheriff Tucker will not understand like I do. And if he found out, Pine's blades were sharp as a razor. Y'all on a slippery slope, he said softly. And I can't tell you how many things could go wrong. You need to stop your little club and now. Any more babies come, you bring them to me. But you'll carry them over to the country home, Bonnie said. Don't you play that mess with me, woman, he warned. You keep on with this. And not only will I take you in for illegal adoption, but I'll do all I can to round up every last one of them kids, including wine. Oh! I didn't even know you was this cold-hearted. Ruby Pearl held her stomach, as if someone had punched her. Pine stood up from the bench. Before he walked away, he said, I don't mean to be cold about this, but it ain't right. Mr. Dale slowly turned to me. Bonnie set wine's bottles into the icy cooler. Olive lined up the plastic forks so that each was even with the next. Tilly in her big-ass mouth, Thora said, that's why she ain't here. Miss Adeline nodded. Ruby Pearl was close to tears. What now, Bonnie? Olive said. Bonnie watched Wyan tossing the ball to Delphine's youngest daughter. She couldn't bring herself to look at Ruby Pearl. We gotta stop. Simple as that. Damn shame, Thora said. We did what we could do, Miss Eileen said, and that was fine. But I guess it's time to call it quits. Or maybe we need to be more careful, Ruby Pearl said. The woman was shocked. Ruby Pearl? Thora said. You understand what you're saying, Ruby Pearl, Bonnie asked. I understand that you saved my life, she said. Wyan saved my life. And then there was a twin set. Levy and Freddie's hearts are pounding each and every day. Oh no, Ruby Pearl said firmly. I don't think that we should just stop. There's too much here, Bonnie. Too much good. And remember what Miss Minnie said, Thora put in? She said that things are going to happen. Pat can't see everything, Miss Eileen said. We just gonna see the creek mold, use the creek mold, use the woods and the creek. Bonnie could see Pat watching from the reverend's table. Why don't we get together later and talk about this, she said. We can't do that, Olive said, but I agree with Pearl. We shouldn't just stop. Bonnie found it amazing that these women were not to start dissolute, shaken but not dissolute, dispersated. What are you making that words, Chris? Pearl especially had so much to lose. They seemed to just brush off Pine's warning and switch gears. Plates were piled with good food. Children were cheered to the finish line of the three-legged races, and wedges of cold watermelon were handed out for jobs well done. But at the edge of the ladies' laughs there lurked a suspicious delight. Tipsy with the sheer danger of it all, the women shared submissive looks throughout the day. They enjoyed the picnic and their time together. As something other than their mothers, wives, and church members, they were sisters. On that dirty stuff, criminals. Can we call them criminals? Is that a crime? Let me know. Is they criminals in the comments? They on that legal life. They about that legal life or that illegal life? Let me know in the comments. Dewey Bradshaw was the thinnest of Nad's baseball buddies. That aside, his mouth more than made up for his size. A baggy gray suit with large black buttons swallowed his tiny frame, and a white cescent sank low on his forehead. He looked like a 12-year-old boy dressed in his father's Sunday suit. Dewey laughed loud, and at the same time, he clapped at his own jokes. And when he wasn't speaking, which was rare, a permanent grin seemed affixated onto his face. Possibly because Dewey Bradshaw walked with his own bottle of Noah's Meal Kentucky Bourbon. Not for nothing, Miss Bonnie, Dewey explained, but folks don't usually have no Noah's Meal. But Nas know me, he yelled. That old boy know that Noah's Meal is my poison. His laughter roared. And this here girl is 114.2 proof. Point two, Bonnie asked. Oh yeah, he yelled. Is that point two that put a nigga on his ass? You crazy, Dewey, Nas laughed. I swear for God, old Dewey is a wild man. Nas looked like he didn't have a care in the world. He talked louder and laughed harder with Dewey around. Bonnie rarely saw her husband drink, especially before the sun went down. Today, he and Dewey had been embedding since early afternoon. Bonnie hardly understood this baseball or liquor humor, but knew it would be impolite not to laugh along with them. Still, every once in a while, damn, my pocket melted that chocolate. When she needed a break from the Hillary, she went to fetch something from the kitchen. Sheriff Wilder, Dewey said in the middle of another holler. Sheriff, Bonnie asked. That's what the fellas used to call North's foster mama, he laughed. Call the sheriff, because she wasn't afraid to stand to nobody. Of course, the woman be drunk out her ass most of the time. Ooh, excuse my mouth, Miss Bonnie. Dewey always apologized when he let loose with a cuss, which was every few minutes. Most of the families come to the games, watch from the sidelines, calmly, Dewey explained. But Nas mom cussed the umpire, cussed the coach. Hell, she even cussed the fans because they ain't acting right. Oh, Ida was something else, Nas put in. Sheriff Bonnie smiled. That was her name, Dewey said. He poured another 2 fingers of bourbon in his glass, then did the same for Nas. Come on now, Miss Bonnie, and have yourself a taste, he said, offering her the bottle. I'm fine, thank you, she replied. And a sip from his glass, Dewey went on talking. Them fellas, the ball players, they was always making up names for folks. And what they call you, Dewey? Bonnie asked. He patted his chest like the answer should be obvious. 'Cause they say I'm small like a dewdrop. But old Dewey is quick as they come, Nas said. Was, Dewey corrected. Back in the day, boy. Back in the day. Dewey leaned into Bonnie with a devilish look on his face. A gold tooth glistened in the side of his mouth. Say, Miss Bonnie, he almost whispered. You gonna love what they used to call old Nas here. Don't start with me now, boy, Nas warned. Bonnie hadn't seen her husband have this much fun in years. What they call him, Bonnie teased. Old Nas was one of them die by the rules kind of guys, see, Dewey explained. You know your man, follow the rules to his grave. That's my baby, Bonnie said, kissing Nas on the cheek. She could almost taste the barbarian on his breath. Ain't let nobody get away with a damn thing, Dewey went on. That's why the fellas called him Mr. Justice. The two men broke out laughing. Mr. Justice, Bonnie chuckled. A show enough by the law kind of guy, your man is, Dewey went on. Even officials didn't catch some of the old things Mr. Justice caught. I remember this one time, Mr. Justice, Bonnie repeated. He gonna bring up that old call again, Nas jumped in. Old Nas was actually arguing the call against his own damn team. You a lie, Nas laughed. You know I ain't, Dewey insisted. You ain't C.C. Baker, Wadham, Jet Jackson, any of them dead guys, and they'll tell you. Mr. Justice, Bonnie could hear the old man in the big bag mistaking Nas for Mr. Justice. She could see the woman standing in her living room pointing to the photo of Nas and calling him Mr. Justice. And now Dewey Bradshaw. Oh, my goodness. Trouble in paradise. Excuse me, she said, rising. You okay there, Bonnie? Nas asked. I'm fine, she said, walking toward the bathroom. Just got a touch of heartburn. I don't know what to say. That mean he out here cheating, got a double life. Oh, my God. What I should get you some of them tablets from the medicine cabinet, Nas asked. No, she said. She don't want to embarrass him. So she gonna wait to come to lead to ask the questions, but you got something you want to tell me? Body legs fell numb as she walked to the bathroom. She turned on the tap and leaned into the sink. The possibility that the incidents were related were remote, but somehow she couldn't ignore them. She recalled when a young woman from Tallahassee had mentioned the name Lucinda Justice. Bonnie took a pink handtail that hung from the inside door with the words wildness and embezzled across the bottom edge. She sat on a closed toilet seat and lowered her face into her toweled hands. Your man looked like Mr. Justice, same face. Bonnie's stomach was in knots. But this was nothing. She kept repeating to herself. It was just a name that confronted her. Once, twice, and now again. Oh my God, the title of this, y'all think he got another family, and oh my God. Leave a like, leave a thumbs down, do something, algorithm. This might not even get posted till tomorrow. And I'm still gonna give y'all 2 videos tomorrow. I gotta get back on my grind. I'm just, don't know. Brain everywhere.